From the top rope to your collection, this is Collecting the 1, 2, 3 presented by Cardboard Dugout. I'm your host, Moon3PO, and this is my tag team partner, Bropio, with another episode. But before we dive into it, Bropio, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. We're actually recording this on May the 4th, so obviously this will be posted later, but happy May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day to all you people. If there's anything that I love more than wrestling, it's probably going to be Star Wars. So, but here we are. How you
I was
doing?
gonna say, what did you do to celebrate May the 4th? Did you do anything? I know you went to Burger King, you freak.
Oh
Let's go
yeah,
get
I went to go get my collector's cup, which the speaking of that, the lady in the fucking drive-through was being an asshole about the cup. I said I ordered the wrong meal. I'm like, dude, no, I got the right meal, but that's probably a story for another day. But she looked so agitated when I asked about the cup. She gave me like the good old like. But yeah, I did that. I binge watched
I heard Maul is like really good. I haven't seen it yet. I heard
yeah,
Maul is really good. I
I've been
saw
watching it. So I watched the finale, the last two episodes, which was Goosebumps. I'm pretty sure if you haven't seen, spoilers already on the
yeah.
interweb, certain character makes an appearance, and yeah, as soon as he comes out, I got the goosebumps. But yeah, I just did that. Watched The New Hope. Watched a little bit of Mandalorian, getting ready for the new movie coming out here in a couple of weeks. But yeah, other than that, man, it was a pretty Star Wars filled day. But
any breaks?
oh no. I bought a single the other day. I think I showed you on this past I got a little Max Rebo auto
Oh yeah, you
from
did.
I think it's from Smuggler's Outpost, I think if I'm not mistaken. It's on the Topps Finest. So $5, can't pass it up for the GOAT Max Rebo. If you know, you know. But yeah, no, I stayed away from breaks today. I jumped into like a few like whatnot people. But yeah, I just stayed away from that, trying to stay away from baby breaks for a little bit. It's wasting too much goddamn money. But
And yes, breaks will be a heavily discussed topic today. Just because in this episode here, we are going to be reviewing royalty. If you guys we didn't record an episode last week, and we just got busy, both of us here, so we did not record an episode last week previewing royalty. But of course, when we get to the card hobby section of this episode, I'm going to talk about the project that I've been working on as moving forward. You will be working on as well. You know, if you want to throw your hat in there, you're more than welcome to. So we'll be talking about that. We will also be reviewing here and previewing Topps Chrome Sapphire. Topps Chrome Sapphire is slated to be released this upcoming week. This episode probably is going to be out Wednesday, so you can get ahead of it. And then breaks and, moving forward, Friday or moving forward, whatever the case may be, obviously you can get prepared for that as far as preparing for Sapphire. And obviously, we did not record last week. There's been a lot of wrestling chatter, a lot of just overall wrestling news. Obviously, one of the unfortunate news being releases. Kind of like deja vu. I feel like we came back last year talking about all these strings of releases, and they are still coming. Rumor has it more are still on the verge. So time will tell who is going to be on this list. We'll go over who has unfortunately been released as far as of right now. And obviously we'll just talk about, obviously I'm pretty sure it's naturally going to come into as far as of all the rumors that we're hearing that obviously the TKO group is asking certain superstars or have already asked superstars regarding to pay cuts. I'm pretty sure that'll naturally come up here. With those releases obviously come call-up. So we're also going to talk about that. And this is also going to be our Backlash prediction episode here. So we have a full slate episode. So if you haven't yet, make sure you are following, subscribing for more, because this is not just a wrestling card podcast. We talk all things wrestling. So if you enjoy this, make sure you are subscribing, following to the podcast, and of course our personal social medias are linked down below in the podcast description at Moon3PO. And of course you can follow Bropio here at Dad Who Collects. So starting about 2 weeks ago is when these releases here starting coming through here. Of course, we're going to go through the list as far as who's been released right now. Again, maybe by the time you listen to the episode, maybe this list has changed. And obviously, we're going to talk about, there's some names on here who I'm going to be brutally honest, never really heard of or don't really watch, but obviously there are some big names here. So I'm pretty sure we'll talk about those into more detail. But as far as the names who have been released, as far as right now, we have Alba Fire, Aleister Black, Alex Shelley, Andre Chase, Apollo Cruz, Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy, Carly Bright, Chris Island, Chris Sabin, Dante Chen, Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Kari Sane, Luca Crisafino, Malik Blade, Nikki Cross, Santos Escobar, Saria Linton, Trill London. Again, two names I don't even know what the hell. I believe they're part of like the ID and Involve group. We have Tyra Maysteele, Tyreek Igiwe or Giwe, something like that. Tyson DuPont, which those are two hobby. Those names always pop up in trading cards. Selena Vega, Zoe Stark. As far as the most recent ones here, we have JC Mateo, Kofi Kingston, Tonga Loa, and Xavier Woods and Selena Vega. I don't know if I did say Selena Vega. She was up there for some reason. They did it in a date wise. But that is the full list. I believe it's a total of like 30-ish something superstars. I think now, of course, when you include like all the like smaller people from Evolve, the ID group, I believe right now they're up to like 39 or 40 as far as the total releases. Again, this happens from around this time. It's WrestleMania, post WrestleMania season. This always happens. Last year when we started the pod, we were talking about these unfortunate releases. Last year was like Cora Jade, Elena Black, Gigi Dolan, just to name a few off the top of my head. And now we have a full list here of a lot of main roster talent. I think that was the most shocking thing when I was reading off this list. It's a lot of main roster talent. Usually in the past, it is a lot more NXT, but I feel like the main roster definitely got a hit here, especially the tag team division. Obviously all white six members, Motor City Machine Guns, the New Day. From what we've heard and what's been reported is that they actually stepped away. They didn't get, quote unquote released. They're the ones that decided to walk away, and WWE mutually parted ways with them. So take what you want with that information. I'll throw it over to you, Bropio. First off, names on the list, any of them a shocker? I know obviously there are a lot of shockers on here, but what's a name on here or series of names where you had to like make sure you did a double take and make sure that you were reading this correctly and wasn't a stupid like little bird or dirt sheet account?
Yeah, even just backtracking a little bit, like this the post WrestleMania like releases never make sense. Like I don't understand how you can. I get that it's a business and blah blah blah. We've done that where we hear that a lot on the interweb, but I don't understand how like you can like gloat like on your post shows like, oh, this was the biggest gate ever, this was the biggest Allegiant Stadium gate, this was the biggest WrestleMania blah blah blah, WWE World, all this, and then you just go through like crazy roster cuts like this, specifically even like the main roster. I know there's like all the rumblings about like TKO wanting to like restructure contracts, stuff like that. I think that's kind of what happened with the New Day. I think they kind of went to like a lot of like some of the veteran people, and they're like, hey, can you alter your contract a little bit and it sounded made like it seemed like to take less money from what it looks like, because if you even go and like digest like Kofi's post, he put like, know your worth, don't settle for less, always stay true to yourself, and just believe in yourself. So obviously it kind of made it seem like TKL probably asked him to take less money, and he's like, Kofi has been there for like what, 20 years probably.
60 plus years,
Same thing for Xavier. They're both like 15 years plus. So that one was a shock. Like I thought those for sure. I think I even tweeted out like I thought those guys were like for sure like WWE for lifers. Like it's so weird to like think of like possibly seeing it. I would not be surprised if they're going to be in AEW. I think it would be a fool for Tony Khan to like not bring them on, and I like that would automatically just bolster their tag team division. And seamlessly like WWE just seemed to like gut their tag team division, which 2 years ago or 3 years ago we were like begging for like split WWE tag team titles, and now it just seems moot at this point. It kind of just seems like we can just combine them again, where they can just go. I mean, the Usos are jumping back and forth from Raw and SmackDown, for God's sakes. The women already do it; they jump back and forth. So why not the guys? There's very few little true tag team in the WWE right now. So yeah, the New Day was the one that took me by surprise. Aleister Black also caught me by surprise. I mean, he hadn't even been back for a year. I mean, like he was getting wins off of Randy Orton and guys like that, like top main event guys. He was in that Damian Priest feud for like half a year. He was main event SmackDowns. He had ambulance matches, last man standing matches. So yeah, that one was a weird one too. WWE's weird, like they like to let couples go. So obviously, I don't know if they meant to let Zelina go, and they're like, "Oh, we got to let Aleister go too," or vice versa, or they just wanted to get rid of both of them. And then obviously the Wyatt Six. I mean, obviously we talked about how big of a fan we were of Bray and the Wyatt family and the Wyatt Six and all those guys and kind of what they mean to us, like when we watch wrestling and stuff like that. So that one did hurt a little bit, especially like seeing like everybody post, all the Wyatt Six members post about it. It just sucks because Bo's not really on on social
Socials.
media. So
Yeah.
like we don't know anything. I know his sister posted saying that she was proud of him and stuff like that. But like he has like no social media presence, so he was like we have no way of knowing or what's next for him. And the last we saw of him, he was getting pinned by Solo, which his team also got gutted in half and losing the GOAT, Tonga Loa and JC Mateo. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it's they're again they're cutting people mid storylines. Like I said, they just cut Tongaloa and Jason Mateo, who are in the middle of a feud, or this whole bloodline storyline again. Kyrie got released in the middle of the Asuka Io feud, which seems to be coming to an end here at Backlash. So I don't know. It's a strange time. It's weird. The vibes feel weird. Like I don't know. It feels icky, if that makes sense. Like it
No,
just
it
I don't
really
know.
does.
Like I don't know. It's very it's strange. It's hard to explain. Kind of hard to even talk about. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it feels weird. It feels icky. It feels like the morale is kind of like low in a sense, in a way. Like there's even rumors I've seen. I'm sure you've seen about like having Roman Reigns restructure his contract. That TKO apparently doesn't like how much they're paying him for a limited amount of dates. It's just very very weird, and I don't know why you would go after like one of your top guys like that and
Who
want
you
to
just
piss
put the
him
belt
off.
on.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It makes no sense. I don't understand it. But yeah, fuck
Yeah,
TKO. They're ruining the
it's a
game I love.
weird it's a weird space to be in right now if you're a wrestling fan or wrestling content creator who just like absorb as much wrestling, which I also want to preface like this is probably the most important time. I know we said this a year ago. I was actually going to go and clip it and put it into this episode here again, as you brought up a good point last year. Like if you are a fan of these superstars and they decide to go to other companies, go support them in whatever way that you possibly can. If that's, buying their merch on pro wrestling tees, or if they do their own merch. A lot of superstars now start their own YouTube channels or Twitch channels. That's obviously another source of ad revenue. If they do go to AEW, I know some superstars are already posting like all of them from what I've seen have that 90-day window. So it seems like it's around July is when they're up. Like I think Dexter Loomis, my heart kind of like I got a little bit sad watching it, but also like a
When
little bit
Indy cut
excited
his hair.
watching his
Yeah.
when Indy cut his hair, like obviously doing the dreads for the Wyatts and all that, and for the Buzzard. But like going back to the bald head and the mustache, like that storyline kind of brought back like a lot of good memories. So like deciding what he wants to do. Joe Gacy has also talked about it as well. Like his date is like around July. Nikki Cross as well, I think already filed for a trademark for her old indie name. I'm
Her
not too sure
holding
what
the
the name
name.
of.
Yeah.
I think Nikki
Nikki
Ashrock,
Nikki Storm.
Nikki
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 Storm.
Storm. There you go,
Yeah.
Nikki Storm.
Or yeah.
So a lot of superstars already started filing for their trademarks, and I think what's also cool is that we see a lot of superstars who have been released who have made a name for themselves. Like we saw with like Matt Cardona, just name a few, like kind of just talking about like go make a name for yourself, go do this, that, and the third. If that's AEW. I know some people have been throwing around TNA. I don't know how awkward that would be because I just don't know how extensive this partnership is now. So like I really don't know how that would go. Obviously, we do see some names around at TNA. We just mentioned Cora Jade, Indy Hartwell, Nick Nemeth, with guys that were ex WWE or in women ex WWE have gone to TNA and they brought it back. So I don't know how too fresh that is. And I think I've been hearing some rumors and sources that I don't think right now TNA has the capital and the money right now to be throwing out contracts. So time will tell when all that happens. But yeah, again, I think it's very important that if you have a favorite superstar that was part of these releases, to try to support them in any way possible. But yeah, I would echo just a lot of the same things that you said. I think the bigger shocker, the two shockers for me were the whole Wyatt Six family. When I saw Nikki Cross going away, I was like, okay, like maybe does that open the door for Alexa? But that kind of part of me was already kind of fearing like this may be a trickle effect, and unfortunately we did see that. That to me was crazy, like especially considering that in October you had the Wyatt Six house at Universal, and from what I've
Yeah.
heard, that was considered like a commercial success from a business standpoint. So if you're TKO and you love money and all this kind of good stuff, like why would you release and do that? That to me will be the biggest
Not even
shocker.
that, but
And
if you really think about it, if you're somebody who is like really into horror and then you go there and you're like, oh, what is this White Six? What is this all about? And then you look into it, you're like, oh, what the heck is a WWE? Like, it's gonna bring more
yeah,
eyes to your product. But I mean,
And that's what we've
What do
heard.
I know?
From what I've heard,
Apparently,
there
somebody
was a
over
lot
there
of
is
just like,
doesn't like horror. They don't like spooky stuff. So
so yeah, I put out a funny post like, man, they would have released the Undertaker years ago. I think I
Jesus,
saw like a post too saying that that's the reason why he comes back like as the American
yeah,
Badass. I don't know if
badass.
that's true or not, but
Yeah,
yeah, that time I don't know if that's true. That's just absolutely freaking insane. But
they don't
yeah,
like
like when you
spooky
go back
people.
and consider that, like that was a commercial success, so that's just absolutely insane. And yeah, just again releasing superstars in the middle of their storylines. Again, I'm going back to the Wide Six really quickly. Like you flaunt around this, the lantern type thing. You have them lose. Maybe that played a part into it. I don't know, but it kind of seemed like I don't want to say tarnishing Bray Wyatt's legacy. I don't think that maybe that might be a strong word. Maybe disrespecting. Maybe might be the appropriate word. Kind of just like throwing it around, doing this, that, and the third. So who knows? The New Day was probably the most insane one because, like you mentioned, I would have expected Kofi and Xavier to be again lifers. I know there's another rumor going around right now that Xavier is like they might be throwing like the Tyler Breeze contract, where he does because he has his
Yeah,
channel, he has the up down down channel. So maybe that's a thing. I'm not too sure. So yeah, who knows? I would love to see the New Day go to AEW. The 5-star match with the Young Bucks, that will be
the
absolutely.
Bucks.
I know they have a close relationship as well, close to the video game stuff. So
Yeah,
maybe that's the thing. I would hope they show up there. They don't obviously can't use their name or the New Day. I'm pretty sure. So even under a
yeah.
different name, under a different group, that is still going to be a 5-star banger. To see the goat Tongaloa go away, I saw a funny like I don't know if he does it on purpose at this point. I really can't tell with that guy. Like his last clip on SmackDown was
Falling off the
him on
table.
the table, falling off the table. I was like, dude, what the hell
He has to
is
know. I think he just trolls. He has to be trolling at this point. Hey, but
I was
Tony
like,
Khan has he has the opportunity to bring him in, and he can relive that famous clip.
with Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
uh Even
Oh my
JC
god.
Mateo, man. Like if you go watch some of his older stuff, like his indie stuff, man, that dude could freaking wrestle. And the fact that I think I saw a crazy tweet or a crazy post that he only had 4 single matches. And like one was against like R-Truth, one was against like Damian Priest, and like who was the other one? 2
I know
other
he
like
fought
no
Jimmy
name.
a couple of times. Probably
Yeah, I
Jimmy.
think
He
Jimmy.
fought
Yeah,
Jimmy a couple of
I think
times.
that was the one. So the fact that he only had 4 single matches, yeah, absolutely insane. One I also kind of felt bad about, we kind of just rushed upon Zoe Stark. Like she got hurt, she rehabbed,
Yeah.
was cleared, and like, oh no, I'm sorry, you're good. Like we're gonna cut you. Obviously
Yeah.
watching
No.
NXT, being a big fan of NXT. Tyra May Steele, that one's a more shocker one as well. I
I
think
mean,
the rumor is what though is she pissed off higher people. I don't know if you saw that post where
yeah, where
she
she said
went to
it
like
was
Vegas.
like a dream or something like that.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
something, and then like she pissed off people, and then like she did like a wrestling competition, and I think she won like half a grand or something like that. She won a good amount of money. I think TKO found out about it and they were pissed. So I think that might have been part of that. Again, I don't know if there's a truth to that rumor. Luca
Yeah,
Crespino,
it's weird too. Like they just released like the last 2 LFG winners. Like
yeah,
made no sense.
yeah.
So I don't know.
LFG winners are like wrestlers who are getting repackaged, like Luca Cristofino. Again, not like a crazy name, but he was bringing repackaged like a DJ name or something like that
He
down in
said fucking
Wallet.
and retired too. He's done wrestling. He
Yeah.
said.
Motor City Machine Guns, that's absolutely insane. So like you mentioned there, the tag team division is just absolutely gutted. Uh, they don't they when your tag team champions, no disrespect to these names, are Damian Priest and R-Truth and Logan Paul and Austin Theory, there is trouble in that division. And there's really no respectable tag teams right now down at NXT that are good for a call up right now. I love the Vantage product, but obviously they are not due for a call up. Hank and Tank not due for a call up. There's just no tag teams whatsoever in WWE right now. So I don't know what the future holds for their division. They obviously need a lot of help. Where the help's going to come from, I do not know.
Nope.
I love the Street Profits, but I think there's only so much there that they can do with that. And yeah, it's just
I think they need to entertain just merging the belts back and just like giving like the legitimate tag team like a long legitimate run like the Street Profits or freaking Fraxium. I mean, give them the damn belts for God's
I'm
sakes.
surprised they weren't on the freaking list at this point.
Dude, there's like every time these releases happen and I see like the kind of wrestlers they're releasing, I get like so scared for certain people. Like I'm like, oh god. I
One
can
name
think
I'm
about.
worried about. I'm worried about Johnny Gargano
I'm surprised I hate to say it,
and
but I'm
Candice.
surprised that they survived like this round of. I know they said there could be possibly more coming, and I mean, reality releases can come whenever. They just always seem to come in bunches around this time. But like, yeah, like he was like Johnny and Candice were like ones that I was like, man, I'm surprised that they were, unless honestly, what I've also heard that their contracts are maybe just expiring, and obviously being that they're Triple H guys, I guess you want to say, maybe he'll just let them expire. That way they don't have to have that 90-day non-complete cause, is what I maybe think. Like the way they did for Tommaso. Um, that's the only thing I could think about, but maybe that's why they're surviving. But I mean, obviously, like his like the whole rumor was that he was going to start this group with Motor City Machine Guns, and now they're gone.
Now they're
So
gone. Like
yeah,
he really
so
has like nobody left. It's
yeah,
kind of sad. That's why I'm like, I'm surprised that he's like survived. Like I love Johnny Gargano, I love Candice LeRae,
yeah.
phenomenal workers. But the fact that they've like survived like this round of cuts is kind of, I don't want to say shocking, but it is a little bit surprising when you're reading off the list and you don't see that name on there. I believe also Candice has been working like a producer role. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's why I had
So
heard too that she
maybe
had been
that's a thing.
working
I don't
like
know.
I yeah. I don't know. I had heard that she had been like that's why she hadn't been wrestling like more recently, like because she's been doing like more backstage producer roles, stuff like that. So I don't know if that's the thing that's going on. I don't know. Um, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Huh.
Yeah, so who knows? Hopefully, we don't have to do. I'm pretty sure. Cause I believe there also the rumor is like I think TKO has like the reporter their quarterly reports coming in a couple of weeks or like in a week or so. So I would maybe expect more releases are subjected to come, and I think that's why they're asking all these superstars to restructure their contracts. Because yeah, I believe the rumor is true that they asked Kofi and Xavier about 50% of their contracts, which I think Corey Graves said something too on Monday Night Raw today, where it's like loyalty doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah, loyalty doesn't pay the bills.
Um,
Yeah,
and that's true. It's like, and everybody can say what you want. Like, if your employer came up to you and asked you, "Hey, we want you to do the same amount of work that we're asking you to do right now, but we want you to do at a 50% pay cut," you're obviously not going to leave. You could be flipping burgers or you could be a professional wrestler. If any employer was to ask you to take 50% of your cut, you're saying no and you're taking your bag home. I know I would personally, and I'm pretty sure everybody else listening to this podcast would as well. So respect them to doing that, respect to them betting themselves, and yeah, hopefully they go kill it wherever they decide to do. With releases also come ups. So on the come ups here on the main roster here, we've had 4, or if you want to count 7, I think. Well, if you want to count Fate Influence, if my math is math in here, we got Soruka on Monday Night Raw along with Ethan Page, and then we got Ricky Saints, and of course we have the whole group of Fate Influence, that being Jason Jane, Fallon Henley, and Laney Reed. I know we're a little bit worried that they weren't going to be called up as a group, just especially how raw like Laney is. I know Fallon and JC have had a lot of time down at NXT, but considering how like kind of I don't want to say raw they are, but considering Laney, she's been down at NXT for a little bit too, but just started getting more main roster exposure. Obviously, Ricky Saints only being down in NXT, I think, for like a year. I think a year and a half potentially.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
Ethan Page was down there for maybe close to pushing 2 years. Same thing with Soruka. Soruka was down there for I believe about 2 to 3 years, pushing, give or take. Yeah, all these calls, I would say, I know I put out a funny, I don't want to say a funny tweet, but I put out a post. I know everybody was kind of shitting on the Ricky Saints debut, things like that. The no pop in the beginning, it doesn't take a genius to kind of hear that one a little bit. The promo, he recovered. I felt like he did. I know people were, IWC does like to nitpick on like small little things. Like I know he mentioned like I'm the hottest like free agent SmackDown, something like that, or SmackDown free agent. I think he said something like that. Then of course the IWC picked that to shreds. Soruka today slipped on the turnbuckle doing her soul snatcher. IWC picked that right away. So I think the IWC just likes to find little something here and pick it to the bone there and kind of want to have it define their whole NXT call up and their whole run already. But I personally feel all of these call ups here have been done tremendously well. I think having Ricky Saints working Cody Rhodes kind of shows how much, I don't want to say potential, but like how much faith they have in working with Cody. I know there's also the relationship with Cody Rhodes. I get that. But I don't think they would just throw him to Cody with just because they have a working relationship or a good relationship, which they did tie into in their promo, which I thought that was pretty funny and a nice little nod there, dating back to the AEW days. Ethan
yeah,
Page getting a win over Penta today. That's huge. Again, Soruka throwing herself into the IC title picture. I think that's a perfect starter feud for her, and she's perfect to be the one to beat Becky when that time comes and become the new IC champ. And Fatal Influence, man. I think out of all 3 of them, they have been the top. Now, if I was to rank them, it's Fatal Influence, It's Ethan Page, it's Sol Ruka, and then Ricky Saints. In my mind, there's no doubt about it. The amount of reaction that they're getting and the amount of work that they've been put already, like going against Rhea Ripley. I know it's a JC Jane, but it's as a group going against Rhea Ripley, defeating Charlotte Flair on this past Friday's of episode of SmackDown. Again, just shows how much faith and potential they see in all three of them. I think Charlotte even said too, like all three of them have like super high potential, and they are showing it here. Yeah, all three women have been absolutely killing it. I don't know if you have a one that you're looking at where like, man, that's the one that's sticking out to me. But yeah, for me, it's been Fatal Influence. All three of them have just been absolutely clean. Hopefully, Fallon and Laney get some in-ring work in. You know, if that's a tag team with Alexa and Charlotte, I think that would be a good way to kind of introduce them to the ring. Get those SmackDown patches in full swing. But yeah, I as someone who as you and I both, you know, and absolutely just love watching NXT and watch it every Tuesday and go back and watch old PLEs and old episodes. It's always so good and always so refreshing to see them get the call up and have, I don't want to say instant success, but have some early success.
Yeah, it's always cool. I always feel like I guess I'm so used to like seeing like the small like NXT stage and like obviously like, and then you see them come out like on Raw or SmackDown and you see like the bigger widescreen of it. I'm just waiting for Fatal Influence to get their full entrance yet. It got cut off this past
I
week.
was so mad they didn't do it on Friday. I was like,
I'm pretty sure they'll do it this upcoming Friday because I think they're fighting. They're in a 6-woman tag match. It's Fatal Influence versus Rhea, Charlotte, and Alexa. So I'm pretty sure they should get their full entrance, and I hope they get like the same camera angle like the way they did it down at NXT because that's kind of what makes their entrance. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that. Hopefully they don't get like freaking commercial entrance and stuff like that. But yeah, like I'm agree with you. I think number one, it's got to be Fatal Influence, specifically probably a little bit more JC Jane to debut like against Rhea, and then the next week you going up against Charlotte and then picking up the dub over Charlotte. We sit here every pretty much every other week and we discuss like how badly SmackDown's women's division like needed help and stuff like that. So automatically like putting them three in there gives it the backup that they need. And I was actually kind of shocked to hear like the boos they got on their opening night. I was like, man, like they're getting like rowdy booed.
that's like heel heat. It's not just like heat. That's heel heat.
Yeah, and to be like that, like it's always weird because not everybody watches NXT. I don't know if that's the case in point. What happened with Ricky Saints? Like I don't know if people just didn't know who he was. Like I honestly do not know. Because he was like out of all of the NXT people, he was like the one to like the least get the reaction. I mean, like Ethan Page got a good reaction but I mean he was in Vegas, you know. I think Fatal Influence debuted in Fort Worth, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember Soul, but Soul's already been like teetering on the main roster when she had like her Saturday Night's review date.
Soul was Vegas like too with Liv. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. I don't remember where they were at this past Friday, so I don't know if those people there just don't watch NXT.
Iowa?
I don't even know. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if that was the issue, because he was out there with Cody Rhodes, so it's like that's a pretty big deal. But am I worried about any of them? Nah, not really. Although I don't know why. I guess speaking about tonight, I don't know why they had to change Sol Ruka's debut or theme song. Like, I don't know what it is about. Like, I don't know what it is about. Like, they get up to the main roster and like the first thing they want to do is change the goddamn song. It's like it even sounded like it sounded like a spooky song too. I was like, what the hell are they doing?
I have a theory on hers. Is I feel like her music is produced by somebody else because when she doesn't have her theme song on like Spotify and Instagram. So I think it's one of those cases like we saw with Recur and all that. Obviously, her music was produced by somebody else, and they tried it for a couple of months and they changed it. And I don't know if you even saw the post earlier, like the AFI for CM Punk, like it's dubbed over on the Netflix version now. If you go back and watch on the ESPN version, yeah, it's dubbed over now. The YouTube version still has it, so you can still go back and watch that version with the AFI. But yeah, it's dubbed over now. It's a different.
What is it dubbed like? Just like a generic song?
Yeah.
Ugh. That's gross. Yeah, I just don't. Another here they are again. Penny pinching over this shit. Like it's crazy. It don't make no sense. But yeah. Anyways, that's so Rick's theme song. Anyways, but yeah. I mean, now if you want to like dig into like a little bit of NXT, like they got gutted like just as really bad too. I know they had a couple of call ups. I know they brought up like some people from like LFG. I think it's like Maxine Dupree's husband. I
Oh
think was
yeah.
one of the guys. That guy, I don't know his name, Will Coos, Will Cause, whatever his name is. I forgot his name. Um,
The guy who did the moonsault, right?
yeah, the people they thought he was a fan. I was like, is that a fan?
That a
I didn't know
fan?
who he was, and they're like, they didn't even build up on that. They just left it alone. I think find out the next day like who he was, and apparently he's like a really good wrestler from overseas. I think he's from the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Lizzie Rain is obviously
Lizzie Rain,
the
yeah, that's the
yeah
one. She's cool.
yeah. I I think when I saw that she was in a debut, I had to like go on YouTube and like look at like past matches of hers. Yeah, she's pretty cool. She's pretty crazy. So yeah, NXT is gonna, you know, they're gonna go through a whole rebranding rephase again. So this is where a lot of these people don't have cards. So this is like names to keep eye on possibly for next year. I know they're signing like Universe already, so I don't know, maybe too late for that, but maybe for Topps Chrome, maybe we might start seeing these people next year. So I don't know, something to keep an eye on. So then we
Topps
talk about
Chrome, Topps
prospecting.
Now.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely the names to keep an eye for. I looked it up really quick here. Will Cruz or Will Cross, if I said that correctly,
no
is the
cross.
name of the guy there doing
Yeah,
the moonsault. He has a. I'm looking at his moves here. He has a mullet cutter. What the hell is he doing here? So
John Cena posted him, so I think that's how you knew he was a pretty
yeah, I
big
think
fan.
just both the rumors like
Yeah,
yeah, like John Cena's like a big fan of him or something like
yeah,
that. So yeah, if John Cena's
yeah,
a fan of you, you got the instant rub. But yeah, I saw him do the moonsault. Like, what the fuck? For that big of a guy to be
yeah,
doing a moonsault like that, I was like, God.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think yeah, NXT. Even if you want to go back and talk about the other people that have gotten called up before them, like Javon Evans, Trick Williams, those guys. We even mentioned her, which is I think that's why my brain was saying seven. It's six what we counted, but seven with Blake Monroe. Blake Monroe hasn't officially
Oh yeah.
debuted officially on SmackDown, but she's had her little vignette, so she's set to come. It was weird. I think they were promoting like her to be like to
They
actually
made it. They
debut.
made it seem like she was in her
Yeah,
debut last week, and she didn't. So I don't
and she
know.
was even there. I think she like made like a bunch of posts or like pictures of like her backstage, but they still didn't use her. I don't know if that's a case of like, well, we called you up, but we don't know what to do with you. Because obviously Fatal Influence is involved with that. Yeah, and obviously Tiffany's doing her own thing with the US Championship. So who knows where Blake Monroe fits in. But yeah, also very excited for Blake Monroe. I'm pretty sure that SmackDown debut patch next year will be going for quite a bit of money
Oh yeah.
next year when that is to be debuting, which hopefully I'm really hoping with all these here we do see them in 2026. I mean 2027 Topps Chrome. I know there's been some patches that were left off from this year. He still got like Zarya. I don't know if
Mhm.
Fraxium had them. Mystery Iguana had one. So there's still some that were left off from
Sure.
last year that need to trickle into this year. So hopefully it's not a case of where we have to wait till 2028. If that this thing 2028 is disgusting. But 2027 Topps Chrome. So hopefully we do see all these names here in 2027 Topps
Hey,
Chrome with
give
the,
us a WWE Topps Chrome update. Come on now.
oh man, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
A little baseball action.
With all the recent like names,
Yeah,
get the release names out of the sets because obviously it's gonna be awkward now with all these names being released. They're gonna obviously have their cards in here. So yeah, maybe that's a thing. I don't
yeah.
know, Tops. What are you doing with that? That's a good idea. Wait, I'm gonna tweet Tops right now. Tops
Give us
Chrome
an
update
update.
series.
Yep.
Oh man, but yeah, those were all the call-ups here. Luckily, unfortunately, here none of these call-ups here do have matches here upcoming here on Backlash. I'm pretty sure we'll see Soruka and Becky potentially at the SummerSlam match. I think that's a good little rub for Soruka. Maybe Ethan Page gets the dub for the IC title at that during that time as well. But it is now time for Backlash, which I'm if there's one thing I would say I am proud of WWE going into or playing into is definitely the meme of the Backlash. They
Yeah.
even posted their own version. Danhausen did his own version, which I believe Danhausen is the only person saving his company from going bankruptcy or from like failing completely. He has the company on his shoulders right now and absolutely carrying with it. Um, but it is Backlash time. We do got five matches here on this card in good old fashion. I believe it was confirmed today that the first hour is going to be like the way WrestleMania was. The first hour is going to be on
Oh
ESPN2,
Lord.
and then you have to then transition over to the ESPN app. So that will be a good time to be watching that together because we obviously will be watching this here together as per usual.
That's
The match,
worrisome that the whole first hour. I'm assuming you're gonna get two matches, so that leaves three for the rest of the I don't know. Because now they have to rush two matches into an hour. So
Unless they do the John, it was also confirmed that John Cena will be at Backlash. Unless you do kick off with that, I don't know if you do that. Maybe that eats up like 20-ish minutes,
Yeah,
25, give or take. Who knows? But
I
there's
would think
also a
they'd want to put that behind a paywall, like everything else they fucking do. Like, you want to see
uh,
John Cena's announcement? You gotta go get your ESPN plan for $39.99 or whatever how much it costs.
and knowing them will probably be them promoting the WWE ID Club or the hell that
I
club.
honestly would not be surprised if that's what it is. If it has something to
I
do
know
with
he's
that
a big
stupid
component of
club.
that, or he's like a big
Yeah,
face of that. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
pretty sure it's
that's
gonna
what
be
it is.
like, the Roman starts tonight after Backlash. Yeah,
Here's your discount code for WWE ticket to be
yeah.
your exclusive to the WWE club. But yeah, we do got 5 matches here. We got Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. We got Io Sky versus Asuka. We got Trick Williams with Little Yachty versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. We got Danhausen and a partner to be named later versus The Miz and Kit Wilson. Well, shout out to The Miz and Kit Wilson for just running with that little pairing there. They made a fucking hilarious TikTok this past
I
Friday.
saw
I'm
it.
pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you saw it.
yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. And then we had Roman Reigns with Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship. I guess we'll just stick off here where we started off the card here. Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman. This one here, I mean, do you give? This one here is interesting because you got both returning superstars in a fashion. Obviously, Seth came back at WrestleMania, obviously losing to Gunther, and then you have the returning Braun Breaker. So, do you give the nod to Braun Breaker this early? I don't think you do that right now. I do think you do get the nod here to Seth Rollins, get him back on track. Maybe there is some shenanigans. Obviously, you have the Vision. We had that little backstage segment as well with the Street Profits saying like, "Hey, like you don't have to trust me. We just need to be on the same page to destroy the Vision." So maybe there is something there. Maybe Joe Hendry gets involved. The same Joe Hendry has been simultaneously added to this. That's another call up here we failed to mention. But I feel like he hasn't really done too much at the concert. He had a match today, but so maybe there's something involved with that. But yeah, this one here, if I was to pick a winner, I would go with Seth Rollins just in the case here. I feel like you got to get him back in the win column a little bit, make this return feel a little bit something. And obviously, if you want to run it back at SummerSlam, you can have this clean victory over Braun Breaker or Braun Breaker go over Seth Rollins in that fashion. But yeah, this one here, I do got Seth Rollins taking this one here from Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I think this like I don't think this is gonna be like a one-off feud kind of thing. Like I think it's gonna continue from there. In a sense where I think if like Braun was to win, it kind of could be like, oh, like I already beat you, blah blah blah. I'm done with you. We're moving on and stuff like that. As compared to like if Seth wins, obviously they're trying to get back at him. So I think just because of that, also too being that Braun was the one that caused and it couldn't cost Seth at WrestleMania. Kind of gotta get your lick back. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I was like, I don't know. They also teased a little Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, a little backstage thing before when Raw kicked off. So maybe they speed that up really quickly. Again, I know there's that rumor of Roman Reigns and his date, so maybe there's something brewing with that. Who really knows? But yeah, I think that Seth Rollins is definitely in an interesting case here as far as that. But yeah, this one here going over to Seth freaking Rollins. Next match here, we got Io Sky versus Asuka. It kills me that there's no Kairi Sane here. Kairi Sane was the main vocal point, I believe, in my opinion, in this feud. Like,
Yeah,
they were the reason why they were feuding. Io trying to say like Asuka's not good for you, and Io and Kairi just still having her loyalty to Asuka. Even hinting at that in today in their little vignette, like Io Sky said, like that's not the Asuka that she once knew. So the fact that they're doing all these packages and stuff like that without Kairi hurts so much, and I'm pretty sure it hurts both of them as well. Like the fact that they're doing this without her is a little bit upsetting and a little bit disappointing as well. But this one here, I mean, you can go either way. It depends on how if it's. I would think this is the ending factor for this feud. This feud has been going on for quite some time, and then again, I don't think you can continue it on without Kari for X amount of months. So this one here, if I was to pick one here, I think it would once again go to the face here. It will go to Io Sky, kind of get her. I don't want to say back on track just because she hasn't really lost any momentum in my opinion, but being left off the WrestleMania card, if you want to get her back in the main title picture, or maybe even get her involved in the IC title picture, try to find a way to get her back into where she's then involved in these major PLEs moving forward, like SummerSlam, like Money in the Bank, wherever the case may be. But yeah, this one here, I do got Io Sky taking this one from Asuka.
yeah, I agree. I think I'm going with Io too. I think this whole storyline too, even just the way it's been, is kind of just like the whole like babyface has been getting their ass kicked this whole time. Even with today, like with the little promo they had or the vignette, the video record that they play, like she got misted on by Asuka, which I think
The way
was
they
the like
shot that was interesting.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like horror movie-esque.
yeah. Um, yeah, so I think just with that, like, and I think it's also just like the how Io's been telling her, like, oh, like you've been my mentor, blah blah blah. It's kind of like that whole like old Yeller story where she's got to be the one to put her down, kind of thing. So yeah, for that reason, I'm going with Io. Where both of these people are going to go after this, I have no clue. Like, that's what also kind of scares me for this too. Like, I don't know like where you can go with Asuka now that Kyrie's not there. Do you want to maybe move Asuka over to SmackDown and then maybe start a little bit fresh and stuff like that? Now that it seems to be like they're trading people because Gunther randomly showed up on Raw on SmackDown and attacked Cody. So I don't know if that could be a thing. Like just and we talk about I think even SmackDown like lacking in heels. Like if you throw Asuka over there like that on as a heel, that obviously bolsters the roster again. Um, and maybe you can even kickstart something with Julia and get Julia going with that because it seems like she's bickering with Kiana now. So that's a discussion for another day. But back to point, I think Io's going to take this one.
Yeah, I agree. Just thinking about it now, like an Asuka and Tiffy for the US would kind of cook a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is a little interesting standpoint though. But I know people have been making the rumors that Tiffany doesn't have side plates on her on her US championship. So
Mm.
the rumor is that she's dropping that belt very quickly. So time will tell if that is to happen. We always love our little IWC speculating on on people not having on superstars not having side plates on their belts. So
No
I thought
side
that was a
plates, you
little.
done. No side
Nope,
plates, you're
no side
done.
plates. You're done, and she's on a boat right now, so who knows what's going on with her? So,
She's so weird now. I don't know, man. Something's going on there.
yeah, I hate to be in the camp a little bit off tangent, just a little bit. Like, I hate to be in the camp like you, like, oh, you have to be all about wrestling, this, and that. Like, your whole business has to be devoted to wrestling. Like, I always hate being in that camp. Like, you're more than welcome to do what you want. And obviously, all these superstars, like some of these, like we talked about in the past, like, there's not their livelihood. Like, they have different adventures and things like that, movies, whatever. But yeah, there's just been something that hasn't clicked with it yet. And I think it shows in ring too. Like, she hasn't really had like good in-ring matches. I don't since she just came back. I don't know. I don't know what it is with her. Something's
Yeah, I don't know.
something's not clicking.
I think she needs to go heel. SmackDown's gonna just be full of
Yeah.
heels.
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, something is just it's just not clicking for me with her. And it was before it became US champ. Like even when she was the women's champion, there was just something that just wasn't really hitting recently or last, I would say year or so. I think
Yeah,
ever
I don't
post
know.
Charlotte, I would think it's been where it's kind of been like real flat.
Yeah, because
So yeah.
after that, it was all what feud with Nia and Jade, and we know how all that went. And then when she lost her belt, she got squashed. And then she comes back, she got her ass beat at Chamber, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting there. That's something to keep an eye out there, obviously. But sticking with the United States Championship here, we got the men's United States Championship here. We got Trick Williams with a little Yachty versus Sami Zayn. I chuckle because I'm just thinking about the freaking gingerbread.
Rest in peace, Gingy. Rest in peace, Gingy.
Throw up the eggs for the gingerbread. Like, it was funny to an extent, but the fact that they're doing a whole fucking funeral thing and they made a graphic for him, I don't know how I feel about that. That I would have to see how that plays out. But you could definitely tell that SmackDown struggled with that 3 hours. They literally have a funeral plan for the ginger. The fact that he threw up the X was like the funniest thing I had ever seen. Then when the doctor came out and was like, he just put his hand over him.
Yeah, he put his hand on him. Yeah.
So that's the part where I was like, okay, that's funny. But the fact that they're extending it even further with the gingerbread man funeral is absolutely yeah, it's I'm not lost for words. Time will have to tell. We'll maybe have a post reaction episode really quickly when that segment airs.
Gingy. Rest in peace, Gingy.
Gingy. One thing I will respect with this feud is I do like the instant switch. Obviously, WWE and creative have reacted to the cheers and the boos. Thus, switching really quickly. Trick Williams being now the babyface in this feud, I would say, and Sami Zayn being the heel. This one here, as much as I've enjoyed it, it's hard to take the belt off Trick Williams this quickly, especially when you have little Yachty involved. You still want to have, the little heelish tactics. Obviously, you can have him being involved in this. But yeah, this one here, like the other two, I don't want to say kind of predictable, but this one here is very hard to see Sami Zayn coming out as the new United States champion. So this one here, keeping it with Trick Willie and his lemon pepper steppers.
Yeah, you gotta ride this one out. There's just no way they can take the belt off Trick. But yeah, man, I was dying at that whole gingerbread thing. Oh man, that was hilarious. It is crazy, but yeah, I mean, even like you could tell they are struggling. But I think I even heard that they're gonna move it back to 2 hours again here pretty soon. I think probably in the
Yeah,
summertime. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I was laughing at it, but I was like, man, I was like, I didn't look at anything, but I was like, man, I can only imagine what the internet is probably saying about this right now. And they were tearing it apart, but I don't know. I think sometimes people take wrestling a little bit too serious, like, but there's some time for some comic relief, and just I think just Trick Williams' reactions to everything is just hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm rolling with Trick Williams on this. Unless, I mean, I don't know, they could really, if you really want to play into the heelish Sami Zayn thing, I'm thinking if he never really bends the rules kind of thing. So maybe he wants to bend them a little bit here, and take the belt. But yeah, I don't think they do. But yeah, I'm rolling with Trick Williams on this one too, and his lemon pepper steppers.
yeah. I thought the segment was funny. I thought I generally enjoyed it, and yeah, the IWC was absolutely tearing it
Roasting it.
into absolutely tearing it into shreds. Now into more comic relief here. We got the Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and a partner to be named later. The little sneak peek and little sneeze tease that we had here was that supposed to be Danhausen's partner is someone who loves money. That's what Michael Cole made the announcement here today during their Monday Night Raw episode. So who knows who that partner will be? I know he put out like a freaking funny tweet today, or I think today or yesterday, asking like all the legends to like come out of retirement. Like I think he tagged like Stone Cold, Triple H, The Rock. He tagged Stardust. Like let me bring it up really quick. He tagged like some like I don't know how many different accounts there to be his tag team partner.
I know he posted a
Uh,
picture of like the old Stardust
yeah.
outfit. Yeah.
Oh, let me see here. Where
If
is
I had
the
to pick, I wouldn't be surprised if he had CM Punk team with them. I mean, he loves
That's
the
the
money.
rumor. That's
Yeah.
the rumor.
Yeah.
So, hello at Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Undertaker, AJ Styles, John Cena, Steve Austin, Stardust, Kurgan, Naked Media, and Papa Shango. How does
Oh God.
$400 human sound to come out of retirement and team with Danhausen? Danhausen will not be covering gas or transportation, and you have to get your own hotel. It's a good opportunity to be seen though. But yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Danhausen is absolutely the one person who's absolutely saving this company and going from absolute shreds. But yeah, I would thoroughly enjoy if it is, as Danhausen likes to call it, Pepsi Phil as his tag team partner. And I mean, I realistically don't know who else it would be. I think they
Yeah.
get CM Punk involved, little funny little thing here. Obviously, he has a little short history with the Miz. Yeah, I think this match is meant to be all fun and games. Again, nothing. All of wrestling needs to be completely serious. So if you can have a little bit of a comic relief here, I think it's definitely going to be this match. But whoever his partner is, I think it will be Danhausen and the partner to be named later. Keep up with that undefeated streak, get some more human monies, and the Miz and Kit Wilson carry on this unfortunate Danhausen curse.
Yeah, it's I was like surprised that this even made the Backlash card. I just don't know if like they just didn't have anything else to go, and they're just like, it's just so funny to see this on the card. I think I even like retweeted. I'm like, yeah, this has potential to be like match of the year, match of the night, stuff like that. Because yeah, it's gonna be that good comedic relief that we probably are gonna need. But yeah, if I had to be a betting man, I would put my money on CM Punk, especially when CM Punk came back to WWE. He also famously said that he's not here to make friends; he's here to make money. So if that's somebody who likes money, there you go, CM Punk. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Danhausen and I'm just gonna say CM Punk. Danhausen and CM Punk taking the dub for the
And Pepsi
victory.
Phil.
Pepsi Phil.
And Pepsi Phil. But yeah, the amount of human money's in between that. I can't if it is his partner, which I would be a betting man. If I was a betting man, I would put some money, not financial advice,
It's
on
funny.
CM
See, so
Punk here.
the little one, she when he was doing his WrestleMania promotions, when he was in the blimp, I
Oh
showed
yeah.
her she saw the video of him in the blimp, and she was like having like a time of her life laughing at it. She's like, "Why is he eating on the plane?" And so, and then when he came out on his little cart, uh, she calls it the Danhausen car now. She's like, oh, when she hears the music, she's like, is Danhausen gonna come out in his car? I was like, yeah, I think so. And then she automatically is like, you remember when he was eating on the blimp? I'm like, I do remember when he was eating on the blimp. But yeah,
when
she's
y'all
she knows Danhausen now, so
when y'all fly, you gotta tell her you're gonna be like Dan. You should be like Danhausen eating on the
oh
blimp.
yeah, I should tell her that story. I'm gonna be like Danhausen.
Danhausen, the man of the people.
Oh
And
man,
then
I wonder when he's gonna get cards. I wonder when he's gonna get them.
man, I would hope. I don't know how long Stadium Club has been in configuration. A Stadium
That's
Club card
true.
would a Stadium Club, or I would think a Universe would probably fit.
Ugh,
I would think maybe a Cosmic Chrome. Like I think Danhausen fits that Cosmic Chrome
yeah.
esque. So yeah,
I mean, I know they
hopefully
can do it.
soon.
I don't know.
Hopefully soon. I know it's interesting. His Topps Now cards haven't had any autos, so I don't know if maybe that's a thing. But he signs a. That's the one thing maybe I don't understand, and maybe that's like a business thing, like how they sign for all these like autograph prints and like all that good stuff, but it doesn't really translate to cards. I don't know. It's weird because
Who
like Blake
knows?
Monroe had a little bit of a dry period. Uh, Danhausen doesn't have any autos yet, and trading cards as far. So yeah, hopefully his set comes pretty soon. I would hope Stadium Club. I think again, Cosmic Chrome would be absolutely insane if if he did make the cut early. Because Joe Hendry's in there, and Joe Hendry wasn't contractually a WWE superstar, so I don't know how the hell you get away
Yeah.
with that. So, and he just signed like what, a couple months ago, like 3 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, like around the same period. I think Danhausen, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was like the beginning of the year, yes, around there,
Like yeah, like Chamber, right?
or maybe before, because he was in
Oh, he was
NXT
part of.
Deadline. Yeah, when he was
Was
here
he?
in December.
Yeah, I think he was part of his Cena's PLE.
Yeah, so it
Who
might have
knows?
been sooner than that. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? But still within kind of like the same time period. So hopefully, Todd, if you're listening, hey, come on. We're asking for Danhausen trading card. Let's get him in an official top set. And now with our main event here, we got Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship. Basically running a Bloodline 2.2, 2.0, however you, I don't know what chapter. I know Triple H years ago, so like we're barely in like the first inning. I don't know what inning we're in now. You're bringing out what do they call the move? The move that they've been promoting, what the one that Fatu's doing?
Oh, the what is it, like the Tongan Deathlock or
Tongue and
something
death
like
grip,
that?
tongue and
Death
death
grip,
block.
yeah,
Like
death grip,
supposedly
yeah.
freaking confiscates your Adam's apple and you can't breathe and you pass out. So they're really promoting this move. The Tongan, I think it's called, yeah, I think it's called the Tongan death grip.
Which have they? Did I miss it? Did they say why they're like why are they bringing this move out all of a sudden? When like all the
From what
Tongans
I
just got
heard,
like two
uh,
Tongas just got released. So
yeah,
or
from what I
not
heard,
not
it's
really
like a
chasing the tail,
move.
but
It's like a move that like I think his whoever his father is, I don't know who his father is or his uncle is, like only certain people know it or like have learned it. And supposedly he learned it or
uh,
something like that. So I think that's what I may have heard. I think Michael Cole briefly mentioned that. So I think that's why they brought it up.
I might have
As
missed it. I
far
might have missed it then.
yeah, it was something along those lines there. But yeah, this build pretty interesting. Obviously, kind of going through the different parallels of how different their upbringing has been. Jacob Fatu, obviously, like we saw the Drew McIntyre feud, kind of bring up his rough past. Roman Reigns has been, you can make the argument has been fed with a silver spoon, kind of getting all these opportunities, never really being in trouble, things like that, kind of be given all these opportunities that, is in a sense that Jacob has had to fight for. And thus, is the reason why he's going after Roman, thus wanting everything that Roman currently has. Again, I know there's a lot of rumors right now going around, with Roman Reigns' time, his schedule. He was supposed to be here all summer. Now he's not in the June. Again, we talked about it earlier in the podcast. There's the rumor of the contract. There's the rumors of that. I think that TKO mistakenly booked them for those groups because they will be in Saudi Arabia, and obviously he does have his health concerns. So who knows? It's very interesting, but I wouldn't let that change anything here. It would feel very mute to have him beat CM Punk in the main event and then to have him drop it less than a month. Like that would feel for absolutely for nothing, in my opinion. If Jacob, I wouldn't hate at one point if Jacob becomes champion, but I think I don't want to say it's too early because he's been on the main roster for quite some time, or for a little bit of some more than a cup of coffee, I would say. But I just think right now, like it's in a bad point where if he was to come out as victorious, like that whole CM Punk and Roman Reigns, in my opinion, was absolutely for nothing. So, and just in that case alone, I'm picking Roman Reigns. just because I feel like you need to have this carry on. I think if there's going to be one to dethrone him at one point, it's either going to be Obafemi or it's going to be Seth Rollins if you want to run that back. But yeah, those will be the picks here. And obviously with Oba being what he's doing right now, and then obviously there's all the history of Seth Rollins. You don't need me to go over that with you here, especially if you listen to this podcast. But yeah, this one here, I would go with Roman Reigns, still remaining your world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I just echo pretty much everything you said. I think it has to be Roman here. To have Roman be like a transitional champion to Jacob just wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a world title in line at some point for Jacob. Because even at that, I think I don't think this is gonna be a one-off. So I don't know what happens. I know they said that there's rumors about all kinds of stuff of what happened with these June dates. Apparently, it was a typo and that TKO penciled him in on accident and it wasn't supposed to be, so they took him off. But all this is coming out at the same time that they're doing contract reductions and stuff like that. So it's just the timing of it is so weird. But all that aside, I think you still have to roll with Roman. How you can write off Roman for a good month is going to be, the question, because we're 2 weeks already, probably maybe through 2.5 weeks, maybe away from June. So
Yeah,
how they're going to
about
do
three
that,
and a half weeks.
I don't know.
It's that dog and death grip.
Yeah, maybe he after the match, maybe he'll put him in that damn thing, or maybe the Raw before. I don't know. I really don't know how they're gonna do it, but I mean, even with that alone, already he's already going back on his word, saying that he was gonna be here all summer, and he's already missing the first month of summer. So, yeah, remains to be seen, but yeah, I think it's gonna be Roman here though as well.
Yeah, again, this is the one time where I'm not a Roman Reigns hater. Actually, I enjoy Roman Reigns, but this is the one time where during his long, lengthy reign of 1,316 days, we're always just hoping when is he gonna drop the title? We should have dropped it to Drew when that time was there. Obviously, other cases, whatever, but maybe the first time against Cody. Don't think at that point I would have said yes, he should have dropped it, but obviously it planned out to what we got, 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point. So obviously it worked out pretty well for him, and it worked out pretty well for the WWE and Cody and everybody, all the talent involved. The Rock, if you want to throw him in there. But yeah, this is the one time where I'm hoping he does not drop the title, and yeah, like you mentioned, be a transitional champ, because there's absolutely no need for him to be that. And yeah, again, would just destroy everything that was talked about when it comes to the CM Punk and Roman Reigns feud. But that is Backlash. Again, it's shaping up to be a good card. I'm excited for it. Again, we're kind of, at the beginning of the episode, we're talking about the morale of everything. When it comes to the in-ring content, I'm excited for it. Hopefully we get in-ring content. Hopefully we're not destroyed by commercials and whatever and time length. So this would be the first time I watch it back, watch a live PLE again. Obviously I was at Mania, so I didn't know how it worked out last time. So hopefully this is something where there is, there's 5 matches. There is no reason why these matches are not 15-20 minutes per. You can make the case for the Danhausen being a short match, but everything else other than that, there's no excuse why these matches should not be 15 to 20 minutes long. So if they're anything shorter than that, I'm already going to be highly, highly disappointed, because Roman Reigns' entrance takes up at least a freaking 10 minutes. So, but yeah, that is Backlash, everybody. Tell me in the comments down below, or message us here, or tweet us, or post us over on our socials who you have winning. It seems like, I don't want to say a predictable card, but I think for the most part, everything kind of seems in line. I think that's always the case with Backlash. Backlash is always a fun one, but it's always one of those ones where it's after Mania, so there's really not going to be that much dramatic changes. Maybe we're wrong, who knows? But yeah, feel free to message us here or tweet us at our socials here, Mo3PO at Data Collects. If you go against any of our predictions, and tell us why. We obviously love to carry on the conversation. As we had last weekend here, to head into the card talk, which is everybody's favorite card to talk about. We officially had Topps Royalty. Obviously here, if you were waiting for our podcast episode, unfortunately we did not record a podcast episode again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Time got the best of us here. We got busy with a couple of things, a couple of events, so we did not have the time to actually come and sit down and do a podcast episode. However, this is why I highly, highly advocate that for you guys to follow us on our social media platforms so you can kind of stay up to date. Because while I do my daily uploads as far as like what's coming out, things like that, what cards are coming, what cards have been pulled, etc. We have officially launched the Collecting 123 Patreon page, which is where we covered Topps Royalty. So if you were on our Patreon page, it is free to join. It is no paywall or anything like that. It's completely free to join. We posted there our Topps Royalty breakdown. Again, the link will be down in the description down below as well. It is completely free. We put an Excel sheet where it tells you what superstar has the most hits, which is very important for this set. Damn, Spurs fucking lost. Cut. Sorry, listeners. We if you don't know, we live in San Antonio. The Spurs is freaking lost. What the hell? So yeah, Topps Royalty officially here. A very expensive one. Again, we'll kind of cover it here just a little bit. It's 6 cards, autographs, and relics per box. 2 relics, 1 base card number 99, and 1 other number base card. Again, I'm not going to cover all the parallels. There's no point in me doing that. Again, if you want to go check out, who we bought or who I was looking at in the set, again, go check out the Patreon page, completely free. And we have our full breakdown there as far as of that. But early impressions of Royalty, it's for the price point. Again, it retails for $780, something $750. These boxes right now on the secondary are going for over $1,600, which if you're ripping a personal boxes, I want to know what line of work you're in, and feel free to shoot me a DM because I would love to be in that line of business. Because yeah, I saw some people on Facebook were doing this as a personal rip. That's absolutely freaking insane. Yeah, for this price point, it does not make any sense. I even made a video talking about it. Like if you're doing this for $750, even that is a little bit steep, because again, there are some names in here that are a little bit outdated because they have been released or no longer with the company. And there's again some autographs in here like you do not want to hit, like Eric, Ivar, some other NXT names, stuff like that. I think the one big thing to take away that I found with this set is that even with this price point, there are still napkin patches. The blank patches, I think, hurts this product a little bit. Like I joined a couple of breaks and we did that one box that they did there, and there was like an EO Sky to 99, a nice card, but it was a big black napkin patch, and there was a Ray Ripley card that got pulled too, but again, it was like a big jumbo black napkin patch. And like I don't know if this is a hot take, but I feel like Universe had better patches than what we're seeing in this expensive set. But yeah, I would say, I mean, the cards are nice. Obviously, the WrestleMania patches are what make up the set. If you pull a nice booklet with a nice patch, obviously you're gonna do fairly well. But yeah, it's a real tough set. If I was to give this a letter grade, it's C plus, B minus. Again, there are some pretty fun chases in here, but other than that, from a ripping standpoint and from a break standpoint, it's a little bit tough for one to make your money back, or two, if you're trying to get collect your fair superstars, you pull you PC. It's a little bit tough to get those just with the limited cards and per box.
Yeah, I'm honestly not too crazy about it. I think I even told you on Saturday, I was like, would it be a hot take to say that Exalted was probably better than Royalty? I mean, it's half the cost, basically, or more than half the cost probably now. Um, and you still have like those napkin patches. I think that's just probably been throwing me off. Like, yeah, the design looks cool, but I mean, like some of the napkin patches are just are still killing me. I think even I saw that it was supposed to be like the higher number cards obviously be napkin, but I even saw like some lower end cards still have the napkin patches on them. I know, and some of them were a little bit cooler because it actually gives you the event date that they wore them on, which I thought was a pretty nice nod. But I think had they did that with every card and it had the napkin, I think you could probably get away with it. But the fact that it's like every other card, not every card, there was even some booklets with like napkin patches, which I thought was weird if like booklets should just be like a big fancy patches. But there are some like really awesome, nice looking patches and booklets. Like I know I saw the one with I think it's the Dirty Dom one with Dom and Liv. The
Oh
patch,
yeah,
that
the
patch
live,
one.
yeah.
Um, I've seen a couple of the Finn Balor, but it's like you obviously tell like it's his shirt, like with the lettering and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I mean they are nice cards, but to pay that price and um kind of really mimic a little bit of Exalted in a way. It's just kind of weird. Um, Also too, like some of the render images used for the wrestlers were kind of a little bit outdated. Like I saw Lyra's, and I think that's like her one of her images in like NXT UK. Obviously all the secondary one, and she's been a hot purchase here nowadays. But like her, like that's like before the straps and stuff like that. So you could tell it's 2025. So obviously, it is a little bit older. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it and stuff like that. But yeah,
Even
I'm not.
in the Ren, you brought up when I showed you
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
Ren one.
yeah. Um, so it's just I don't know. It wasn't. It's not a set for me. Obviously when we talked about it, well, we actually didn't talk about it, but officially, but when we brought it up in the past, it's just kind of one of those things. The set's not for everybody,
Yeah.
and I just think it's just not for me, and especially at that price point, it's just crazy. I know our local card shop selling it for 1,500 of that price, but on release week it was 1,500. Yeah, that's just crazy. I don't know how you can. Um, what's what I'm looking
Justify
for?
that.
Just yeah, justify that price. It's just that's just crazy.
Yeah, no, and I think we did mention it on a couple episodes ago when we had all these string of releases that were being announced and coming out. Like, not every product is going to be for you. So I think it's very important. It's what I highly advocate on this podcast and what I highly advocate in on the Patreon page is like, not every set's going to be for you. So don't feel the FOMO to go and try to buy a box if you can't afford it or buy into breaks, for hoping to get that big pull because it may not happen. Like the spots that I bought were like real low end, like Ren was like $20, Ethan Page was like 15, $20. Um, and we did that mixer. I think this is like a perfect mixer box, like where you maybe have 1, 2 boxes. But if you're buying a full break into this, it's a little bit tough. But yeah, I would say what you're gonna see a lot online are the people with a lot of capital, a lot of funds, the whales, like we like to call them. They're gonna be highly promoting this set, and for good reason. They should. It's a very high end set. We haven't seen this hit the Topps line, and I think it fits their agenda. It fits their collection, which is important to them. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I as much as I love relics, like I know I can go buy a CM Punk relic for maybe the third of the price or maybe even lower from Universe. And some would argue like the one I have over here, the tricolor 3-color patch here is better than what we're seeing right now, like the better than the little like crown jewel relics and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's just a case of where find what you like. If you like royalty and can stomach that price point, by all means go ahead and do that. But I think it's just one of those things where if there's a cool car, I bought a couple of singles. Obviously we talked about is, I'm obviously chasing my Ren one, and I bought a couple other ones, but and again talked about on the Patreon page. So make sure you are subscribing to the Patreon page. So yeah, again, it's just one of those things where if it fits your budget and you like it, cool. If not, there's other sets where you can find some relics, and there's other sets that are coming like Topps Chrome Sapphire. Topps Chrome Sapphire here is scheduled to be released here on May 8th. Again, we're gonna have all the drop details in on the Patreon page. I don't mean to like shove it in your guys' faces. That's not my intention. But there is a deeper dive into it. Again, there is an Excel sheet who has like every superstar is broken down. Who has how many hits, how many autos? Because not everybody has autos, not everybody has certain inserts. So if you really want that breakdown as far as a specific every superstar, because we don't cover every superstar, of course, you and I, we just like to know who we're buying. Obviously, you guys know our PC, so we always echo that. Who we're buying and potentially who we're staying away from. But if you have a certain superstar and want to know how many inserts they have, how many autographs they have, again, highly recommend you go check out the Patreon page, and I'll go into more deep into the thoughts of the Patreon page and my final thoughts here. I don't want to echo that too much here. But drop details here for Topps Chrome Sapphire. It officially dropping May 8th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via EQL. So there is an opportunity for everyone. It will be dropping via EQL. These boxes will be dropping for $349.99. You are expected 8 packs per box with 4 cards per pack, and you are guaranteed 1 autographs. As far as the parallels, you are guaranteed every card is going to contain a sapphire base. You are guaranteed a yellow. That's going to be numbered at 75. That changes from yellow or changes from green to yellow. Those are every 1 of 6 packs. We got gold out of 50, 1 out of 8 packs. You then have your oranges out of 25s, 1 of 16 packs, blacks out of 10s, or 1 out of 40 packs, your reds out of 5s, or your 180s. And of course, you have your very famous proper dashes. Those are 1 every 399 packs. Inserts here are finally coming back in Sapphire. We did not have them in last year's Sapphire, which I think really, really hurt the product. But we finally got Sapphire selections. So Sapphire selections are making their way back into Topps Chrome. There are going to be for 1 out of 143 packs. Parallels, you're going to have your base, your orange, your reds, and of course your super fractors. And then you have your Infinite Sapphire. Those are 1 out of 471 packs, and those have no parallels. Autographs, you are going to have your Sapphire autographs, and all the autographs that you saw in Topps Chrome are falling through in Topps Chrome Sapphire. It's basically an echo of Topps Chrome, just with the minus a couple of quite a bit of base cards and minus a quite about two different autos. Parallels are going to be your blacks out of 10s, your out of 5, and of course your Parper Dashas. Now, instant reaction there, Bropio. You heading into your local hobby store with your buyback credit and picking up a box of Sapphire.
No, sorry, Bob. Yeah, no, I think I'm honestly, I'll be honest with you. I'm probably just gonna skip this whole set entirely. Just I
That's
don't
a hot
really.
take coming in from Dad who
Yeah.
collects.
I mean,
Sapphire.
I'll probably get like the base card of like the few wrestlers that I like to collect and stuff like that. Obviously, like for the little one, I like buying like her favorite wrestlers and stuff like that. So I probably could pick up like a once the initial like of the release quality comes down. But yeah, there's nothing really for me to chase. Like I obviously I've been starting the PC for Lyra. She only has one card in here. So that alone is just telling me, hey, stay clear from this, buddy. And kind of just I'm kind of waiting for Cosmic. I like Cosmic a lot, and so I kind of want to wait around and see what that's gonna look like. See that checklist and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, I'm just gonna probably steer clear of good old Sapphire. I know people love it, and it's a nice looking set, but it's just after all the damage I think I've done with Topps Chrome, I think I have to give myself a little break here.
Yeah, I would say with Sapphire is definitely the eye appeal of the set. It's one of the more eye appealing sets to come out when it comes to the Topps Chrome line. I don't want to say I'm in the same boat as you as far as a completely skipping. I think there's a couple of names here that I would potentially look at. I just think when it comes to like a lot of the people, in this checklist are obviously chasing the Sapphire selections and the Infinite. Obviously the names that I collect, minus from CM Punk, but I really realistically don't buy his spots just because they are super expensive, and me stomaching that amount of money when I can go buy those singles potentially always gives me the heebie-jeebies there. But like the people I collect, like Ren Sinclair, a little bit of Kendall Gray, Laney Reed, people that I've been eyeing, Ethan Page, those guys, they don't have those inserts, so the bigger case hits, so they just have autographs. So it's really like hard for me to be like deeper dive into breaks. Because yeah, as far as of like who potentially I'll be looking at, again, like Ethan Page. Ethan Page has about 4 total hits, 3 of them being autos, and his base card. He has his normal base card, his NXT autograph card, and his future card. Same thing with Fallon Henley. Laney Reed as well also has about the same amount of autos as she did in Chrome. So I mean, those are also some names that I would like watch out for. Names again that I stay away from typically in the sets here are going to be like AJ Lee. AJ Lee in this set does not have any autographs. She only has 1 base card. So again, like I just mentioned, Sapphire, the case hits or like the inserts I have in Topps Chrome, they do not follow the same suit in Sapphire. So that's very important to know that. As much as we were talking about Kendall Gray and her cards and how much of a fan we are her, she only has 1 card here again. Like AJ Lee only has the base card, no autographs yet. Like you mentioned, she is signing for Universe. So she doesn't have autograph cards and royalty. So again, doesn't really make sense as far as of that. Again, I don't know what's the thought process behind it. But yeah, to me, it's one of those sets here where, again, I know a lot of people are going to be enjoying it, going crazy for it, which by all means you should. It's a very popular set. If you want to chase the Sapphire selections of like Alexa Bliss, Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, Joe Hendry, Liv Morgan, Vancouver, Tiffy, whoever, Cena on the Infinite, Stone Cold, your legends. It's definitely a fun chase for those people who definitely chase that. But if you're like myself or like you, kind of just have little small PCs of other superstars, I don't know why Lyra got left off on here just thinking about it now. Like, it's kind of weird. And Kofi Kingston's the other name that's ironically enough not listed as an autograph. But yeah, it's just one of the ones where I'll look at it, maybe buy 1 break or 2 if their prices are, fairly reasonable. But other than that, it's not a set where I'm going to my hobby shop with my buyback credit and buying a hobby box. Buy a couple of singles here and there for the stream for, potential flips. But it's definitely not one where I'll be like highly deep into breaks. Because like you mentioned here, I think you and I have both already echoed. We are very, very much excited for Cosmic Chrome. We are fans of it on the baseball side. The fact that's coming over to the wrestling side is very, very exciting. So yeah, I'm just officially all in on Cosmic Chrome. So, and again, like we just talking about a couple of minutes ago, it's important to know what sets you like and want to put your money into, because it's only so much money to throw around. So if all your money is into Sapphire, well, you can't throw any money into Cosmic or vice versa. So yeah, that is Sapphire. Again, if you want a full, more detailed breakdown, again, there is the Patreon page. It is linked down below. Highly, highly recommend you go check that out. But before I talk anything further here about Patreon and things of that nature, I'll throw it over to you, Bro Pio. Any final thoughts here for the good old listeners of collecting the 1, 2, 3?
Oh man, no, my brain is fried. I can't handle the Spurs loss right now, so I don't know what to think.
You look
I was
flabbergasted.
yeah, that was such a hard yeah, man. That one hurt a little bit. So I'm a loss for words. Go follow all the socials. Go follow the Patreon, the Twitters, the Instagram, everything. Oh man. Go follow the eBay page, everything. Oh,
Yeah, go follow the eBay page
hurts.
there. Yeah, again, final thought here. I'll make it here really quickly so Bropio can recover from the San Antonio Spurs loss here. Again, the Patreon page is officially launched. Just a quick little idea behind that is obviously the idea that I have is like obviously want to expand the collecting the 1, 2, 3 brand, the Move Through PO brand, and the Dad Who Collects brand as much as possible. Obviously, I love doing my videos, I love doing all that good stuff, but another way of just creating content and putting more, in-depth analysis, things of that nature obviously comes with Patreon. So again, like I mentioned, Patreon is a free to join. All you got to do is just join the page. It's completely free. You join the page and you get access to all of the content here that we are putting out. And I say we is because I did invite you there. You are officially added to the page. So you're more than welcome. I don't know what you will be bringing to that page. We're just talking about here and there is whatever Bropio is feeling that day, whatever he wants to type up there, he's more than welcome to go on that page and type it out. So you'll see his breakdowns there. Maybe he goes and buys a Lyra card and whatever wants to talk about it. That's going to be his time to do that because you don't do videos and things like that. So that's obviously going to be your way to express that. For me, again, it's the way I view it is just a way to create different subsets and different sub shows and sub content. We have the collecting 1, 2, 3, which is obviously going to be the podcast. Nothing's ever going to change with the podcast. But if there's anything here that we can go into more detail, instant reactions, things of that nature, stuff that maybe we didn't get to cover on the podcast episode, that's going to be on the Patreon page. So that's the idea that I had with it. I'm excited for it. We do have 3 posts are live now. We have our Topps royalty breakdown. I covered the market of Sol Ruka and JC Jane, and then we have our Sapphire breakdown selection. So if you guys want to go full free to check it out. Again, I'd highly advocate. It's 100% free. I'm not going to ever put anything behind a paywall. I feel like, you could put that money to cards. So that's the whole reason for this hobby, right? So if I have any sort of knowledge, that's the whole reason for the page itself. So that's all I'm going to echo there. Again, all of our links are going to be down description down below. Feel free to follow us over there. If you haven't followed and subscribed to the podcast page on Spotify or Apple or on YouTube, make sure to go ahead and do that. That's a good way to help support us. Because yeah, we do this completely for free. It's all we just love doing this stuff here. So yeah, I would highly appreciate all the support. And I do thank you guys for all the support that you've been showing here. We've been seeing a lot of growth recently. So I really, really do appreciate everything here that you've been showing us here. But yeah, that's going to be it here. Potentially we'll be back next week, or we probably will be back next week talking, previewing, recapping Backlash, Sapphire. If more royalty craziness happens here, we'll obviously be covering here on the podcast and over on the Patreon page. So again, make sure you do follow for more. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for us. Thank you guys for listening, watching, and we will see y'all on the next one.